Now, why don't everybody turn to the end of that packet, because now you'll see what the kids are going to be doing. We took much too long in the first part. You will not do that with the kids. Hopefully they've had that in their classroom. Keep your fingers crossed. I don't know exactly where the kids are in their studies, but the basic part I think they will have is, observing color and observing the size of the crystals. That's really all they need to look for. But do you see the part on the back where the kids, yeah, right, okay. We are here at the base of Whipple Hill, so this is what you're encouraging them to do. Describe the rocks in the wall. Okay, what differences do you see? It's just what we're doing. What is the common color, most common color? Are the rocks rounded or do they have sharp edges? And I should add to this, is there any color rock? Let's see now, how would I ask this? Are the jagged rocks pretty much the same color? Are the rounded rocks pretty much the same color? If they can say yes or no to that. I mean, maybe they'll see a rounded one that's dark in color. But in general, the dark color ones are more jagged. They have rougher edges than the lighter color ones. Okay. Now, did you notice anything on the rocks that wasn't a rock?
Lichen?
Yeah, lichen. Okay. So these patches of green stuff, sometimes it's gray. It doesn't always look exactly like this. Like here's another species of lichen. What is it anyhow?
It's not one organism, it's two.
Right, it's two organisms, and we used to be able to be safe and say, oh yes, it's a plant, but it's a fungus and it's an algae. And fungus, since I took biology in college, fungus has been categorized in its own group, so it's no longer a plant. That's news to me. But anyhow, so what you're seeing here is not just a plant, it's also a fungus. And Bev Morrison, who wrote a lot of this walk, always likes to say the fungus, lichen is a fungus and an algae that took a liken to each other because they have to live together. They really depend on each other. Either one by themselves would die. So it's one of those nice relationships. And we tend to see funguses and algae that are growing together, these lichens, on rocks, but we can also find them on trees. Do you see these? And actually, if you look, this lichen extends pretty far up on the tree. That tells us that the air quality here in Lexington is pretty good because it wouldn't be able to live that far up on the tree. And this particular kind of lichen, that's kind of leafy looking, that shows good air quality. So it's interesting to see the lichens on the rocks. It takes them quite a long time to grow, so it means that these rocks must have been here for a while. Just in terms of our very short human history. We're actually going to be talking about history that extends millions of years, though. I'm just talking about maybe 20 or 30 years to grow a lichen that size. Maybe longer, I don't know exactly for this kind of lichen. So you see lichen growing on the rock, and then you can see where the lichen has moved away here. And actually, wow, that's handy. Look, what's coming off the rock? Pieces of it, that's right, because the lichen's roots have got acids in them, and they say that the roots go into tiny cracks in the rock, and they actually dissolve pieces of the rock. And there I can actually take a little piece of the rock and crumble it with my hands because it's so soft. So the lichens are playing a role in making this rock change. Okay, let's move back that way. Oh yeah.
That looks like someone's been dumping cement. Is that
that's right. We have some human-made rocks here over in the corner. And you could ask the kids how they would know that. And what clues would you go by to say that was cement and this isn't? Okay, maybe look for some flat surfaces like an old piece of a wall or something like that. Strange rectangular looking white patch. Is that a crystal? Looks like that feldspar crystal that I showed you a little while ago.
It's like paint?
It looks like paint, and it is. And what does it mean?
Should have blazed.
Absolutely. This is going to point us in the right direction. Although we do have our compasses, we don't really need it. But this is sort of a backup to your compass, to use of the compass. Kids love to find these things, okay? And we're going to follow that trail. I'd also like to point out something on this rock that's kind of interesting. Anybody look at this one? Yeah, green stuff. Did anybody see green on rocks? Okay, keep your eyes open because we may see that again.
What is that?
Green feldspar?
No, it isn't the green feldspar. But we'll take a look at it when we can see it a little bit more easily and see what you think it might be. Okay. So the rocks are one stop.
Okay, now there's a
Here's
fork.
little quick quiz over here.
I'm just standing so close because of all the
Okay.
traffic noise.
What happened here?
Couple different
Yeah,
kinds
a
mixed
couple of different
together.
kinds. That's right. And if we can sort of leave it so that the sun's shining, I would like you to identify this mineral right here.
Pink, what is it, quartz? No, pink,
Yeah,
Feldspar.
it's pink. That's right. It's the only one that's pink. Which one is it? Look in your box. It's fine. That's right. And when you say that, actually, you're speaking in German because feldspar means field rock. Just sounds a little fancier. But yes, this is the pink feldspar right here. And if you feel it, you'll feel that nice flat surface that this breaks with. And I don't know, some of you may be able to see the reflection of light from where you're standing. But how did this happen? Here's a stripe of white rock with big feldspar crystals in it, and then this sort of salt and pepper type rock on the either side.
well, the molten must have
Intrusion.
between the two and then cooled very slowly.
Okay, so which one cooled first and which one cooled last?
The dark outside one would cool first.
Must have cooled first because it was there before. This got squirted in, and must have cooled later. Okay, so that's good. So that gives you a little sense of how you can tell what happened to that rock by looking at it and by knowing something about the way the minerals were formed. Great.
What are the striations on the outside of it?
Right here. Well, I don't know, but if you look closely, it looks like they're cracks. Yeah, it looks like they're parallel cracks. And here's a little bit of that green stuff there, too. Okay, here's another crack. That's another thing to look for, cracks in the rock, because that's where the water's going to get in and start forcing. You can almost imagine that this wouldn't take too much to
Is this iron down here
push
where
off a
it's
little bit. Yeah, good for you. There you go. So this rock is in the process of changing and decomposing, and what will it change into if it breaks apart? If it gets it to be smaller and smaller bits?
Sand and dirt.
Okay, well you just happen to have a lot of dirt around here, or soil as we call it in the trade. And so that's your next stop. Okay, so I'm going to give you some sticks if you don't have them in your kit. What I'd like to do is to have you take a look at the soil here and see if you can find out how deep it is. Okay, now it may be deeper than the stick. If that's the case, then that's all you can say is that it's deeper than the stick. But sort of push the leaves aside and then push down into the soil and see what you can find out about how deep it is. And then look in the soil and see if you can find some little bits of rocks. You thought that was what caused the soil. So everybody should have a stick. And
So there are the cars. We just walked up the trail about 10 paces or 15 paces. It's on the right in this
now,
little
does
clearing
it make sense to
behind where the
make
Whipple
that
sign
circle
is.
right in the middle of the
No, it's going to be
Yeah, it might be too packed down in the middle of the trail because people stomp on it. So go off the trail a little bit and push in. Don't push too close to a rock. This is such a cooperative group, don't you think? No discipline
Yeah.
problems at all.
In our dreams.
Okay.
Now you broke radar
That's
already.
okay.
Yeah.
Gone through it.
Yeah. Take a look with your magnifier and see what you're finding in there. Anybody find anything that they recognize down there? Okay, little pieces of leaves. How do you know that they're pieces of leaves?
You can see them.
Yeah, you can see the veins, right. So that's a tip. While you're picking up a piece of soil, be sure and smell it.
There's something growing here.
Okay, roots in the soil.
You can see pieces of mica in this.
Anybody walking around in there?
No.
Did you find some mica?
Yeah, sparkle.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you look at it in the sun and it sparkles, most likely it's not a leaf. Most likely it's a little tiny piece of mica. Yeah, good for you. Now, I used to tell people to feel it, but sometimes you can feel sort of gritty, sandy feel. I guess I can feel a little bit, but I think the mica is probably the better. And you can hear it. Oh, I like that. You can hear it if you squish it on your paper. Good for you. But if you also look at it and see those little flecks of mica, that's a tip-off that some of what is in the soil is actually from the rock. Okay. How deep did your sticks go in?
All the way down.
All the way down? Okay, almost everybody went all the way down. And you might ask around in your group because they might have just hit a different place. So you're just sort of getting an average idea of what happened. Okay, now we're going to move over to where the entry sign used to be. Glad I put that in the walk. Thank you.
So there are the cars, there's the trail. Now we are facing up the hill.
Very recently, there used to be a big sign here that said conservation land. So because it's not here, if you look in your packet, I think it's...
So there's the other trail going off right there. So we're right in the V between the two trails here.
I'm going to look on with somebody else here. There's a page that has a copy of the conservation. Oh yeah, it's this one. I guess so. It's page 3. Looks like this. Okay, this was the official sign, and you certainly don't need to read the whole thing to the kids, but you could ask them, if this is a conservation land, who owns it?
Everyone.
Everyone, you do. This is your land if you live in Lexington, okay? Now, if it's a conservation land, what kind of rules do you think they should have here to protect the plants and animals?
Don't take any plants with you.
Okay, don't take any plants. How about
If you move
ripping off
something,
branches
put
and
it
things like
back.
that? Yeah, if you move something to look like our soil,
Or
I
rocks.
didn't mention that, but you really should. What should you do with that soil that you had in your hand? Just throw it out somewhere? Or?
Put it
Put
back.
it back where it was, okay, because that's somebody's home, maybe. Did anybody find any living things in the soil when you were digging? What is?
And a beetle.
A beetle. Okay, great. The kids are going to find stuff like that, and that will be really exciting because there are animals that live in the soil here. Okay, so the plants and animals are protected. And what about the rocks and things like that?
Don't take them with you.
Okay,
Don't
yeah,
scratch
they're really
them.
here to be part of the environment, and we'll find that those rocks are important to the plants and animals as well. So this is yours. Okay. So